Listen up, everyone.
Turn it up a little bit.
We making noise, holla.
If you haven't checked out the Hip Hop Study Hall podcast, here's what you've been missing.
Another edition of what we like to call Hip Hop Study Hall, the podcast. One part learning platform, one part inspiration, all things to culture, which means every episode, you know, as we get through this talk game that I like to call it, I plan to learn something. And today, I don't want to tell nobody how important you are to me, so we're just going to let that go. You know what I'm saying? Because then they'll be like, well, who is she? Like, what's their history? Yeah, and then I got to go through all that. But my girl Jillene is here. Here's what I'll do. I'll just start this way. I'll let you introduce yourself. Because I just kind of wanted to go Jillene, but you know, you may want to do your whole name, your little backstory, because you kind of got one. It's kind of dope too. But you know, just briefly a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the shenanigans of
okay.
You know, how I got you here. You know, let's do that.
Okay, I'm with it. My name's Jillene Dulkadir, and I'm an attorney. I've been doing this for 10 years, a decade in the game. I practice intellectual property, cannabis law, business law. But I have a background in the entertainment business. Eakin and I worked closely back in the day.
And still now, right? I don't know how that's happening. And still now.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Yeah.
True. Totally true.
And fun fact, to jump in on your little thing here, like that we may have one of the only stories that go from like when I met you, you were my intern, and now you're like kind of like my
your
attorney.
Whole boss?
Yeah, like
your
my
attorney?
whole boss. Yeah, like my whole like Eakin, didn't I tell you to do this? Didn't you? It's another story too. Oh, go ahead with your intro. I'm sorry. I just like to get that in.
It's hilarious. It's a real, I want to say it's like almost a rags to riches story, because I mean, at the time when we were really running the streets, it was, we were in college. we were thugging it.
We were for the streets for real. Like we were for the streets before it became like this term. We was for the streets for real.
We invented the streets. We paved the streets. So, so it's a really cool evolution to see, you know, how far we've come.
You know what you know what's funny? And I tell my boys about when I talk about you, it's funny, especially like to this day, my boys at Def Jam ask about you. I was like, wow. Jillene may be the one chick that I can take anywhere I go. Like, I just feel like it don't matter what room I go to, be like, Jillene, this is where we going. You ready for it? Because back in the day, right? Like when I met you, you were doing this is how I met you. I don't know if you remember this. You were writing for the school paper at USF, and it was a Ja Rule show at USF.
Ja Rule and Fat Joe.
Gotcha. Fat Joe didn't matter to me though.
I remember.
Yeah. Now, what made it so dope too, and why I give you big points, is because everybody, you know, when they do these papers and that sort of thing, you know, they want pictures or whatever. But you did to me what they call that extra step. Like you was like, who's who. And then you came to me, you was like, yo, I want to get pictures. How can I get pictures? And I was like, well, here's how it works. And that was like our first lesson in the game. But without you reaching out, I mean, and I just try to be cool with everybody, because I understand, like, and I was in college too. I was finishing school at the time. About to be finished.
Yeah, because you're way older than me.
Oh my God, here we go with that.
For the record.
Yeah, for the record, right? Yeah. I had this
way older.
Wow. Wow. Is this like her first and last day on the pod? Is this like her first and last day? Matter of fact, like we got like 8 more minutes before she's off the pod. Like 8 more minutes.
Wow.
But I had like this cool gig with Def Jam, right? I'm running the clubs and the street stuff, but it was here in Tampa. So everywhere John and dudes like that went, I had to be there. And my thing too is I've always been like this, and I'm like this to this day. It takes a lot in this game, right? To, first of all, to try to get in it with all the craziness that goes on. But also too, everybody's just trying to find their way. So to me, I never want to make anyone that comes to me that is doing something positive and also comes respectfully, like you very much did, and you're just trying to figure it out, right? So to me, it's like, okay, she wants to figure it out. Let's show her the right way now, so that way her next experience, she knows even more how it works, you know. And that's when because I had just really learned, you know, it's like the first 3 songs, they allow press to take pictures, that sort of thing. And I just thought, and I always think like this, like I just think it's so dope when you meet somebody like yourself that's trying to do this, but you want to learn it the right way. So why not show you the right way? You know what I'm saying? That way it shows you your next experience. You're like, oh, I know how to do this because I talked to the Def Jam dude, and this is kind of how it works. And I've always wanted to be like that. And I kind of hate that the industry's become this thing of like, well, it's always been groupified, but it's also too like you make people feel like why did I get in this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to learn how to do it. Like I know I stumble and I mess some things up, but I'm not trying to. I'm trying to find the right way. You know, like for instance, like when you came to me, if you would have been behind the rope by mistake, that wasn't necessarily what you were trying to do to disrupt things. You were like, is this where I take pictures from? Because I'm trying to get pictures for the school paper, you know, but I've watched people, dudes and females alike, all different nationalities, embarrass people like that and be like, nah. You're like, bro, like, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I get it. I made a mistake. Just tell me where I need to be. And, you know, and that's just, you know, for that part of the story. I just think that that's one of the things that we definitely need to, you know, that's one of the things I want to work on too. Is like, you know, I just want to keep doing that part right. When I meet young creatives and folks that want to be in a game that I'm kind of seasoned, that I know about, to show them the right way. Now, what they do with the information after that is
totally up to them.
Right.
Totally up to them.
You know, like I can't, you know, like sometimes when you might have been in the streets and I wasn't, I can't take responsibility for that. I can only take responsibility for the days that I might have had you in the streets. You know, that's all I can do. Now, the days you might have been out there with your girls, you know, then I look at your story.
Hey, listen,
you know,
I plead the fifth. Back in the wild and crazy days, thank God there was no real social media. So thank God we were very fortunate in that way because we got away with a lot of stuff.
You say we as if I was in the streets.
Oh no. Not at all. Not at all.
I was going to say, like, I was almost like a model citizen.
Yeah.
According to my social media from back in the day, I was almost a model citizen, and that's what we got to go on. Those are the facts.
Right. Yep. We all were.
Oh, there you go. You know what? Speaking of social media, right, while I got you here, have you heard that your favorite, what's your favorite platform now?
I would say it toggles between Instagram and YouTube. I love TikTok, but I think Instagram and YouTube both have my heart. Like that, those are my go-tos.
Okay. So have you heard that Instagram is going back to the chronological order?
Yeah, but you have to select it. So I know they're doing favorites, chronological, and like the home, I guess.
Right.
I forget what it's called. I still stay on the home because sometimes I think it's cool to be able to discover new creators that way. Here's
what I like. And I just kind of got up on this like 2 days ago because I've gotten to the point now where here's the only real thing that I miss about chronological order. Well, two things. I think when it was chronological order, right, you did get to see what actually everybody was posting, right? They didn't hide so much now, right? Like this is what you want to see. It wasn't so much of that. And I think with chronological order, like Twitter, it kept you up on what was actually happening at the moment.
Yeah, in real time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and that to me is all I really miss about the chronological order. You know what I'm saying? Because and I read an article that BuzzFeed wrote, and BuzzFeed's title, first of all, is like, Instagram is giving you babies what you wanted, and now you have to deal with it. and I think they're saying
BuzzFeed has no chance.
None at all, right? And they're saying though what you were saying though, like, yeah, it's coming back, but hold up, not so fast. It's not exactly what you think you remember. Because there's because every time you open it up too, it's still gonna go back to you gotta have to keep kind of flicking back and forth.
Toggle. But, you know, I think it's really good because it's giving us options, right? So you even have a favorites tab now, too. So the favorites tab now, you can actually put in the account, like if you're stalking somebody on a fake profile, you could put them in your favorites and you can see exactly what they're doing as well, too. They get priority on that feed. I like it. I personally like the option to toggle between the three.
So you're gonna be toggling. You're gonna have 50 favorites. Because it's like 50 you get, right? You're gonna have 50 favorites.
I don't know. I know you're my favorite, so that's about. Lies.
It's always good to. I'll take it though. Don't take it back. Don't even tell me why you did it. I'll just take it. Like I'm your favorite or one of your favorites.
I think the favorites are cool for family and friends, you know, so that they don't get lost in the mix. Because, you know, it matters to people now. Like, hey, why you ain't like my Instagram picture? Why you ain't like my boy? I didn't see it, bro. I'd like it if I saw it.
Well,
so
let me go on record right here and be clear. I ain't really rocking with my family on social media like that. My family get Facebook. Really? That's what they get Facebook. Instagram is entertainment to me. I do not want to see my family trying to make a twerk video. I don't. I just don't.
Okay,
I don't even want to see. I don't want to see my family on TikTok.
Not fair.
I don't want. Look. You allowed to do what you want with your social media. I'm allowed to do what I want with mine.
Nah, bro. That's not even fair because first of all, you can have your cousins, like your cool cousins, on your Instagram, and you leave the Facebook to the aunties and the moms and the uncles. I feel like Instagram's open to the cool cousins.
Okay, let me give you this. and I will say this, my nephew CJ, my little cousin Ray Naya, Shekinah, Jasmine, I will say them, that 4 right there, I will.
Yeah.
Instagram, whatever social media they're on. But here's the crazy thing. One of them blocked me.
Oh, because you was talking shit.
No, I was not. Look, here's the thing. And I didn't realize I was blocked. Shekinah, the youngest one, she blocks me. Shekinah just graduated high school, about to be a freshman. She's a freshman in college now at ODU in Virginia. So big shout out to her. I go to her social media, and I just was never really seeing some things she posted. But with the nonprofit, I Care About Me, I follow them all. So something says, why aren't you seeing Shekinah on your regular thing? And I go to punch it up. Oh, Shekinah. So when I go to Virginia, and Shekinah, am I blocked? Bruh, she just turned her head like, and went back to eating her food. Like basically, yeah, you blocked. But I didn't know why. And she was saying something like, it definitely wasn't nothing that I'm gonna tell, because I'm that cousin, that uncle that they know, unless it's like something that I think could get you in trouble, I'm probably gonna be like, I done that already. You know what I'm saying? I'm that one. But she said it was because just what you said. I'll be in the comments with the craziness, right? She said exactly what you said. I'll be in the comments with the craziness. I was like, well, you might as well keep me blocked then, because I ain't gonna stop. Like, you might as well just keep me blocked. Lord. And it don't even be nothing like I'm gonna tell it. I'm just, look, man, that's what Instagram and stuff is fun to me, right? If your head look big in a picture, I don't care how cute you are. I'm probably gonna say
sometimes you need a filter. You can't be doing this to these younger kids.
Look, man,
especially not as an older cousin, because they're just like, they want to be cool, right? So they don't want their older cousin coming and cramping their style.
Let me tell you how much of a cooler older cousin that I am. That they friends. Look,
you're not cool.
Man, you must be crazy. You must be out of here.
We are not cool anymore.
Wait,
we are the drunk aunties and uncles.
Let me tell you something.
Face the fact.
This is how you remain cool. You remain cool by not trying to be them.
Right.
And I am very much cool, because I very much do not want to be them. I don't want to be in the middle of their stuff. I don't be trying to, when I see their friends, hey, what up, shawty? I don't try to know all this cool slang. I do me. That's why I'm cool. Like my sneaker game has always been my sneaker game. I'm not trying to suddenly, like, I'm not the uncle, and this is no disrespect, that has worked at Target, and now I'm a store manager, right? And I've been wearing khakis and a red polo, and all of a sudden now, right, I want to go shopping with them all the time. I'm asking them, I'm trying to send them links from GOAT and StockX. And they like, what, dude? Like, you wear khakis all the time. That ain't me. I always been this. Lord. I always been sneakers and what's going on in entertainment. So,
but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just by virtue of us being in the generation that we're in, we are not cool for
that. But that doesn't see, and that's the problem, though. I don't know if I agree with that.
Because you're in denial.
Well, let me ask you this. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
You never had uncles and aunts that were older than you, or bigger cousins that were, say, 10 years older than you, that you thought were still cool?
Probably like one. Like one.
Okay. That right there, that one.
Oh, you're that one?
Look.
Okay.
Look.
All right.
You know what I like about you? And it's a gift and a curse in our relationship. It's a gift and a curse in our relationship. And what that is you just try to keep me humble for no reason. And it's not even like I'm not humble. You just jump in with things to be like, be humble, bro. Like,
no, I don't.
Yes, you do. Like,
I'm not cool either.
But no, I don't care that you're not cool. You drive a mom car. I seen it. It's a cool mom car, but you drive a mom car. First of all, so and I still tell people that you cool. See, so you don't even see what I see. I still tell people you cool, even though, look, when I ran up on you and you had let the Maserati go and you had got the SUV.
Wow, you're really going to put my business?
You let the Maserati. Hey, look, man, if I'm going to give the story, I'm going to give the story, since you're going to tell me what I don't know is cool. When I ran up on you, and you had a little one, and he's cool, right? You had let the Maserati go, and you was like, Ekin, I had to do it. He's going to be in soccer probably soon. I got things to throw in the back. You had a mom car. Like, you have a legit mom car.
I still got
it. Right. But that didn't. So let me ask you a question. Did that make you uncool? Because if I look at your Instagram, I still see some of these pictures where you out, the little head down. I still see the captions. I still see you and your girls. And don't get me wrong, every now and again in a story, it might be a little twerking going on. So are you suddenly?
First of all, that's a lie. These are lies, Judge. These are lies.
So are you saying that in the last, I'm not gonna say why the pandemic was going on because you were very good making sure that the household and everything was straight, little man and everything. Mm-hmm. But are you saying that there has never in the last 2 years been something in your story that resembled twerking or anything like that? Or maybe, okay, let me give you this.
Mr. E, I cannot confirm or dispel.
You cannot confirm, but not?
I cannot confirm or dispel.
Let's just say this. Any of this?
Oh, hookah? Oh, I own a smoke shop. Like, of course there's hookah.
So did that happen? Did that happen in a VIP section or something?
Of course.
Okay, so what female? I don't care what female in a VIP section with her girls when they got their own money, their own jobs, and they all professional and kind of got it. Don't hit a twerk. Please tell me. Please.
No, I can't. I can't twerk. I know for a fact I have not twerked because I cannot twerk.
Well, the fact that you actually can't twerk may be the reason why you keep yourself on the uncool side. But the attempt is happening. The attempt. Tell me. I just want to know: is the attempt happening?
No, I learned about a decade ago not to even try because I'm not about to embarrass myself or my friends or my.
So do you need twerk lessons? Do you need twerk? Do you need twerk lessons?
Please, somebody please contact me and give me some twerk lessons because I can't loosen it up back there.
In your entire life, you've never been able to twerk?
Never. I can whine like any decent Caribbean West Indian girl that's, worth her weight in jerk chicken.
But isn't that's your version of twerking though? If you're Caribbean, you have the wine thing, believe me. Ain't no brother gonna be mad if you hit us with a wine instead of a twerk.
Right. But these days the twerking is a currency at this point.
No, not really. Not if you hit
That's how you
See, you probably should talk to me more because you gotta understand older cool. Oh
my God.
Yeah, because I'm gonna let you tell me I'm older, but you ain't gonna tell me I ain't cool. I'm giving you some game here. Don't worry about
just let that one go. You a dog with a bone.
Don't worry about let me help you out. Don't worry about twerking if your whining is on point. Because ain't no grown dude looking at your credentials gonna be mad because you can't twerk and you can. Girl, the fact that
I'm gonna use that as an Instagram caption. That's what I'm gonna mental note. That's my next caption. And
then you want to tell me I ain't cool. You see what I'm saying?
Just a little bit.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm not sure how we got off on that. Well, the Instagram thing was how we got off on that. But there was a couple of things I wanted to drop on you today. Did you see the Kanye documentary, Genius? Have you watched it yet?
I actually saw bits and bobs of it, a few episodes. I didn't have the appetite. I can't watch it. It's like a train wreck. I really can't.
You think so?
In my opinion.
So did you get okay, let me ask you this first. Did you get the train wreck? Did you get that the documentary is a train wreck, or did you get that, or do you just feel like Kanye himself is a train wreck?
I feel like Kanye himself is a train wreck. And I hope no one comes for me for saying that. I don't know if you noticed a couple times in the documentary, the videographer, the guy that was producing the piece, he actually took the cameras down when Kanye was going on a bunch of these rants. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you recall. Mm-hmm. Out of respect for him, which is really admirable, but you can see the train wreck happening. It was just enough for you to see, and you were like, "Damn, like he's really spiraling." Okay. But I will say that there were a lot of inspirational parts to the things that I did see. I just didn't watch it from minute 1 to the last minute. No. Okay.
Well, here's where I'm going to go with that, and that right there, you're exactly where I want to be. Where I want to be when it comes to Kanye, right? The first thing I want to say is last episode when I had we had a last episode, I called it group text, right? I had my boys on here and we talked a lot about how the barbershop and the group text goes when it comes to these things, and it was some real dude thoughts on Kanye and what's going on or whatever. And then and when that happened, when I recorded that episode, I hadn't watched Genius yet. I had been wanting to watch Genius, but I hadn't watched it yet. And for some reason, because I just felt like I didn't have the time to sit down and digest it the way that I wanted to. And Kanye is a little bit a part of my story because I was at Def Jam when Kanye got on, right?
He's very much part of a lot of our stories, especially those of us that grew up with college dropout. Like we were around working in the industry when he came out. It was nothing like you had ever heard. He was like this hot new guy. The music was great. I mean, I remember when the station actually gave us the promo copies of the CD, and it just was nonstop in my car all the time. Yeah,
exactly. Right. So the Kanye, and again, a little bit of backstory. When we first got Through the Wire, right? We had Through the Wire, and we were servicing all the DJs all around the country or whatever. And then we're on this call, and Rob Love, shouts out to Rob Love. He's my boss at the time at Def Jam, and Rob was like, "Bro, I know Through the Wire is killing them, but you wait till we give you this next one." And we was like, "What is that?" And then he played Jesus Walks, and we were all on the call like, "Jeez, oh my God, who is this dude?" Right now, so like I said, last week we had like a really full-blown dude discussion on Kanye and everything around, just kind of dissected it like dudes would do in a barbershop. Not sure if it's all like right or wrong, but it was really like I wanted to have my dudes on here, like how we talk in the group chat. Like, bro, like let's bring it to light, not to be disrespectful or whatever. And there were a lot of things about Kanye that if you listen to that, you'd be like, this dude's, and we all see it, right? We all see what Kanye's going through because he puts it in front of us all the time. Then a couple of days later, I watched Genius, and I took in Genius in a day and a half. Like one night I got an episode and a half, 2 episodes, and the next day I finished. And to your point, it was a lot to digest. It was a lot to digest. And even being around it the way that I was, kind of from a distance, being in the Def Jam office, running into Dame and them in the hallway, seeing some of the Def Jam, Rockefeller people, everything that was going on, all the records he had done, there were still pieces in it that they were filling in for me, right? And I felt like I was close to it. The funny thing about it, though, is as soon as it was over, I made a decision to myself that I never wanted to do, and I can't say never wanted to do because like even having you here on the pod, right? There's things that we're going to talk about that everybody's not going to be in favor of, but they need to be talked about, right? But what I want to do when it comes to Kanye, not only Kanye, but a lot of these artists that are in this genre, like in this culture, is I want to find the good stuff to talk about because I just feel like the Kanye thing has spiraled so much that and this is not about mental health or any of that to me. It's about like every time I look at this media stuff, I look at all these people who are making all this money off the culture in their own way, whether they got a blog, even TMZ, right? And this is no disrespect to them. TMZ is 60 to 70%, in my opinion, us. And I mean hip hop. I don't mean just black. I mean hip hop, right? Yeah. And it's always such and such walked by this person, such and such's girlfriend, reality star this, such and such is this, and this is, and it's 60 to 70% us. And it's hardly ever good, right? Yeah. The major takeaway I got from Kanye was, and this is like back to your point about what you saw. I didn't really get that part of what you saw until episode 3, when Kanye really becomes the Kanye that he's become now, right? Because the whole beginning episodes are this kid that just wants to be in this game so bad that nothing is going to stop him. He's going to use every resource, including himself as a resource, to get in. And what I found was really dope about the story was Kanye was in, by all accounts. Like he's produced records for Jay-Z. Everybody who's major wants to work with this dude, right? But he can't get a record deal for nothing. And the people he's made the biggest records for are just walking by him as a rapper. And he's still like, I'm going to do this. Taking his own money, making videos. Then, of course, we all know the broken jaw in the car accident happens where he's out of it, right? Every piece of that to me is some of the most inspiring shit I've ever seen. Like, of course, like it's in. Of course. So when I saw that, to say this, it's like there are so many great things that we could talk about. That yes, I don't agree with everything he's doing with his family right now, but me personally, I want to talk about something else. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to address it if it's a story, and I don't ever want to like run away from the news, but I don't want to beat it up so bad that it becomes like, damn, you hate Kanye too, where I got to question that because I don't.
No, I don't think it's ever a question about whether people hate Kanye or love Kanye. I mean, if you boil it down simply, maybe to some people, I think what is striking about what's going on with him is, and not just him, a lot of other Black and minority men in the entertainment business, once they reach a certain level, it's almost like there is a certain campaign to destroy their legacy. So you talked about all the inspirational stuff that he did early on in his career. Now nobody even cares about that.
Right.
Everyone is so bought into the hype that he is mentally ill. He's going to kill Kim. When is it going to happen?
He's a
going to kill
narcissist.
PJ. He's a narcissist. It's all of these speculations and assumptions. And you see it over and over and over with successful minority men in the entertainment business. So there's a bigger issue here. So, but I agree, we do need to focus on the good and the positive in order to keep his legacy alive. But is that what Kanye would hope for? Like what, I mean, we can only assume, right?
Right.
But just focusing on the positive in general. Listen, I don't know the guy personally.
Right.
So,
and I've only met Kanye once, and it was like you said, it was the old Kanye, as opposed to, billionaire Kanye. Like I met Kanye before Adidas, before, you know what I'm saying? Even probably even I think, before the Donda and all that stuff really started moving. You know what I'm saying? That I saw in the documentary, the stuff he was developing with his mom and stuff like that. To your point though, and this is from the outside looking in as a minority woman, do you think that we as minority men though, we do ourselves a disservice by maybe not understanding the level-headedness of, because sometimes I think it's this. I think that what winds up happening with a dude like Kanye, and I'll put R. Kelly in this, right? Because even if you just said I knew nothing about R. Kelly and you wound up watching Surviving R. Kelly, you know now that other people knew the whole time he's been doing this all these years that it was happening, right? So my point I come back to all the time with a lot of these stories is, and that's why I'm asking you from the outside looking in, and even knowing me, and I think that I'm a little bit different because you will cuss me slap out. You don't never seem like you worried about if we're going to be friends tomorrow. You'd be like, bro, this is the truth. You need to hear it. And I think more people need that. And so I say that to put it here. Do you think sometimes we, as these entertainers that make it to the next level, say Kanye, say R. Kelly, these are just some examples, Bill Cosby, right? That we stop listening to those of us that should matter most, those that are closest to us, like how our relationship is.
Yeah. I think once you get to a certain level, you get whatever you want. You have access to pretty much whatever you want. Nobody tells you no. So somebody on your team telling you no, oh, fuck you, I'll get another you. Like I'm going to replace you. You don't tell me no, you tell me yes. And I think that has to do a lot with ego. There's a lot of narcissists in the entertainment business. It's a narcissistic business.
Right.
So I just feel like that's happening in every team. It's happening in every team. It's just to what extent, what degree. We saw it. I mean, it's rampant, of course. I mean, you have to be very, very self-aware in order to accept any sort of criticism and have somebody tell you, no, this is for your own good. No, I don't think this is a good idea. Like as a friend, whatever. For you to take that, swallow that, chew it up, eat it, it takes a lot. And a lot of people are not self-aware. The other side of it is, I mean, people are exploiting their friendships. I could be friends with you for 20, 30 years, but you hit billionaire status and I'm on that payroll.
And that person, because some entertainers say that they don't necessarily change, but the people around them start changing. Like suddenly I owe you something, like you're changing, saying that I'm changing. Because you suddenly think that my wealth is yours just because you've been around this story the whole time. You're like, well, you should do this. You owe me this. And the circle changes. Yeah. So how do you, and you may or may not know this, but to me, like, I look at you, right? And I like I said, I am super proud of you. Like you've always been dope from the time I met you. Like, and it's funny, like I said, when I tell people our story, I go, Jillene could hang with me anywhere. We didn't miss no functions. We made it to work on time. And the funniest part of it is how my
even
desk
that one time we slept in the Hummer.
Well, that's another story. That's another story.
No, not on some sexual shit, but
Look, but and even to the point of like, you used to always be on me about my desk being organized. Like I would leave for a minute and you come back and Jillene would like I'd be like, what happened? You'd be like, this is how it's supposed to look, Ekin. Like where your stuff is now, right? So to watch your progression all the way up to like you're an attorney now and like a working dope one that I'm even getting assistance from with my projects, right? So you've been around things like yourself being successful, being around people that are successful, because the business that you're in, you've run into some pretty dope people that are doing some dope things. Who do you think is more at fault though? Do you think that the person that is making it, that becomes this, that is maybe not as self-aware, is at fault, like say the Kanye, or is it those people that are supposed to be real friends that are now not speaking up when maybe they should?
That's a tough question, because I think it's a combination of both. I mean, I've been around multi-millionaires who are very successful, but they came from a very grounded place. It was slow and steady, and they developed all of this very slow over the years. They're very secure in themselves. They are very self-aware. They're not caught up in the hype, even though they have every lavish thing that you could ever imagine. They've got the Rolls Royce, they've got everything. It never changed who they were. They don't need security. They don't need a PR team. They don't need all of these things. They don't need a stylist. They're literally, I don't know if you've ever seen that meme where it's like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates
stand next to each other and they go, not a Gucci belt in sight.
Exactly. These are the type of men that, or women that sometimes you encounter and you're like, wow, totally grounded, can have a conversation with them. My mentor is actually one of these people. And sometimes I'll tell him straight up, I'll be like, listen, that was fucked up. Like what you did, I don't think that was a good idea. He has the power to not only fire me, dismiss me, never speak to me again, never allow me in any of his buildings, but he does it. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll take it into consideration. Can I go to, another client that may have the same level of success that is a little bit more narcissistic, a little bit self-aware, that made the money quickly and is looking for that clout, if you will. I don't know what's a better word. I can't do that. So it depends on the person, and it depends on the person on the team. Because again, some people are chilled. Some people are silent because they're afraid of losing their job, losing their position, losing their friend or their friendship or their relationship with the person in power. It's a power thing. You've got to be really self-aware. Yeah. I think it's a two-way street.
I think sometime with him too, and I'll move on from Kanye in a second, but I think sometimes with him too, he's such a creative, right? And there's so much going on in his mind, and he believes in himself so much that I think sometimes he just needs a better PR, and maybe that person that, you don't
think he has the best PR in the world? I think he has the best of the best. But I just don't think they can control him.
Right. But when I say PR though, and maybe I'll use the wrong term, because check it out. There's PR that can get you in every room, that can clean up everything, right? And that can make sure that they smooth things over. But maybe I'm talking more, maybe he needs to sit down with a coach that tells him the things that you tell me. You tell me sometimes, Ekin, you have no filter. But I admit that, I sometimes just shut up because I have no tact, and everybody ain't ready for the blunt truth. Everybody real till you catch them being fake, right? And sometimes I have to tell people bro, this ain't really, you don't really want to hear this part. You don't. Right. Do you or do you not? Right. And but with that though, I've learned, like you just said, you can't do that in every room. It's a line out that I love from Jay-Z. Jay-Z goes, he's learned how to move in a room full of vultures. You understand what I'm saying? And that means, and that's the one thing I say about Jay-Z that I think even Dame Dash, right? It wasn't that Dame Dash wasn't smart as hell. It wasn't that Dame Dash didn't know what he's doing. Dame Dash to me has just become that dude that people were waiting for to lose the seat. And when you lose the seat, buddy, I ain't gotta deal with you. You understand what I'm saying? So they couldn't wait for, if there ever was a time when Dame didn't have Jay-Z, right? So now I don't gotta deal with you. You understand what I'm saying? So all these rooms that he would normally walk in because he's Dame Dash, 1/3 of Rockefeller, also Jay-Z's manager, also Jay-Z's partner. And if you want to be in the Jay-Z business, which could also equate to maybe being in the Beyonce business as that started to develop, which could also equate to maybe being in the Rihanna business. You know what I'm saying? All these things that they were attached to. Once they were separated though, it's you know what? I ain't gotta talk to you, Dame, because you ain't even in this story. You ain't even important in this story no more. And I used to always say that. Have you ever seen the movie Hard Knock Life, where they did the concert of Jay-Z and them being on the tour with DMX and them?
I can't remember what I did yesterday, so I don't know.
Okay. Okay, so the Hard Knock Life tour movie, it was pretty much they went on the tour with Jay-Z and DMX in their heydays, right? Mm-hmm. It was like Jay-Z, DMX, Method Man, Redman, the whole Rockefeller clan, the whole Rough Riders clan. It was this crazy, crazy tour. And it was a Rough Riders Rockefeller idea. It was pretty much a Dame.
I think I remember it now.
Right. It was a Dame Dash and them idea along with the Rockefeller, D and Y and them. Yeah. And they like, we can do this. We can do this. Well, Def Jam, of course, being the parent company, being the way that Def Jam has always promoted, they always want to find a way to get their brand in, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this one scene where Kevin Liles, who was president, or he was like number 2, he was definitely top 3 at Def Jam at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He gave all of the artists on the tour Def Jam jackets. Now, gift or find your way into the branding. It depends on how you look at it. But Dame, being who he is and understanding street branding, understanding grassroots marketing and stuff like that, was like, bro, like, this is not a Def Jam tour. Why would you give them Def Jam jackets? Now, I'm not saying maybe give them a jacket that says Rockefeller, Rough Riders, and then the Def Jam logos on there, but you gave them Def Jam jackets, right? Now, to your other point of a way to address this, the way Dame addressed it, though, when I say belittle him, Dame is getting a haircut. And he's like, man, what you say? You don't even own this. You really only got 25%. You don't really own shit. You don't got, I mean, he is giving it to him. Like, he is giving it to him like Kevin Liles is an intern. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how he giving it to him. And me and the 3 dudes I'm watching it with, to this day, I would never forget we said this. Bruh, if Kev ever get a chance to relive it, to put this moment back, Dame is gonna catch it for this. Because it was just like the most belittling, embarrassing scene that I've seen an executive take at Kevin Liles' stature. And he pretty much, the points he was making were valid, but the way he was talking to him was like,
his delivery
it was like street dude. You've seen Dame Dash. It was like street dudes on a corner. It was like, bro, like, like, first of all, because Kev would say stuff like, well, Dame, I only want what's best for us. We're partners. Dame would be like, bro, we ain't even fucking partners. We got 50%. Universal got 25%. You got 25%. You basically work for us. We ain't partners, bro. We the boss. Yeah. Like, that's how he was talking to him. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but that's how he was talking to him. So a dude like that and his compadres are like, if we ain't got to deal with him, boy, you wait. And with the separation of him and Jay-Z, if you look at what's happened to Dame now, it's not that Dame got any dumber, because them billions that was made around Rockefeller, Rockaware, the movies they made, there's just the moves they were making. Dame was very much a part of that. Let's not forget. Yeah. Ain't nobody believe in Jay-Z before Dame did.
No, I mean, come on, you've gotta give Dame Dash his jacket. No pun intended.
Right.
You have to give him his jacket. He back in those days, he really did do a lot to pave the way. Very, very smart. But again, like you said, the delivery stuff. And again, like, it really just, how you deal with people that you're in the room with affects your future so much more than you even know. So just got to watch what you say and how you say it. I mean, don't bite your tongue. Obviously, I'm not one to bite my tongue, but tact is something that I've learned, and you just have to apply it.
Right.
Because
And do you find this too, though? And I think that it's kind of a preconceived notion too, that we, as the urban population, black, brown people, right, we're gonna be aggressive in the room. Because I never forget I was in a meeting. I never forget I was in a meeting, and I was in a meeting with a chick and a guy. They were both white, and the situation had become where pretty much it was a lie had been told on me. And the reason I knew it was a lie, because the people that they said had even told it, I was with them the whole time. So I kind of knew that they didn't tell them this story. But the way the story got back was like, I had been slamming some doors on this thing, whatever happened. Right? So we're in this meeting, right? And my passion is coming out. I'm not saying anything. I'm not.
Your passion.
Right. Because here's how I feel about it. I'm not doing the Dame Dash thing. I'm in this meeting. I'm not cursing. I'm not calling anybody any names, and I'm not talking down to anybody, but I'm passionately defending what I saw that day and what was going on, right? The things that took place, right? And the things that have gone on with the event prior to that, right? In the middle of the meeting, she says, can you please calm your voice down? Man, I paused for a second and I said, look, this is what you're not going to do in this meeting. You're not going to make me be the angry black man. I said, don't get me wrong. I'm passionate when I speak, but I've not called you out of your name. I've not said anything derogatory. I'm only stating facts. You, on the other hand, are in this meeting lying, but you think because you're doing it in a softer voice, that makes what you're doing
okay.
Right. That's okay. It's not okay. You know what I'm saying? And even that, I think to this day, I can never go back there, but I never want to go back there. You understand what I'm saying? And I knew that as it was developing that I never want to go back there. But the calls that have been made to me since then from there, you got to pay. And they've had to pay. So I feel like I'm doing okay. But I do say that to go back to your point of like, you've got to understand the room that you're in. And also too, my dad used to say this and my grandmother, and you even said it to me. Sometimes you just get your point across by standing there and being like, okay, and then make your point with a smile. Make your point with a smile. And they be like, wait, but he didn't get upset or she didn't get upset. And you're like, you might be bubbling on the inside. But and this is a whole nother story. My Uncle Les is in the Navy. He's retired Navy. My Uncle Les is the most even. Let me tell you something. If anybody can ever make me feel bad by never raising their voice, it's my Uncle Les. And I had stayed with him and my Aunt Elaine up in Virginia for like a year, right? And I don't know what I had done, Jillene, but it was something trash. And my aunt was plenty upset, right? And my aunt, being a black woman that she is, she probably had did a little yelling or whatever. And I kind of felt bad, right? But then my uncle came and talked to me. And this is him, Jillene. Man, I don't even understand it. Why you would, I mean, me and your aunt will do anything for you. So why you would want to get your aunt this upset and hurt her? I mean, you should really think about that. I mean, let me tell you something. As that dude was talking, the knives was inside me like, like I was trash. Like bro, like how dare you do this to your aunt and uncle? Like they got you, but he was speaking in the most calm, even tone ever. Jillene, I felt like he was kicking my ass.
Of course. I actually have a story like that about practicing. I was very early on in my career and I had like a non-compete litigation matter. So we were in court and this big time firm was on the other side, a huge firm down here in Florida, an employment law firm. And they filed suit against my client, which was a really small company, mom and pop family operation. So I was like, no, they're not going to push you around. So in response to the complaint, I filed a motion to dismiss in Broward County where the complaint was filed. I didn't choose the court. So we come down for the motion to dismiss. I knew my motion was probably trash, but it's part of my job, right?
Right.
So the attorney was a senior attorney. I mean, she's got like 30 plus years in the game. Like no way I could touch her as a litigator. She was like the top of the top, one of the best. So I knew that my motion was going to get denied, but I had to do it anyway. She was so pissed at me for filing that motion and so pissed that she had to drive to court. We're standing outside of the judge's chambers, mind you. His judicial assistant is sitting right there and we're signing out. It was like a document we had to sign. And she's standing behind me and she's like, I don't even understand why you would file that stupid motion. You made me drive all the way fucking down here. She's like, I don't even know why you would think that you could dismiss my complaint. I'm 30 years in the business, AV rated, big fat white woman. I'm just sitting there, I'm standing there. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to say her name, but ma'am, I'm just doing my job. I'm doing my job for my client. This is what we're paid to do. And I'm just doing my job. I'm sorry that you had to drive down here. Nothing I could do about that.
Right.
She literally follows me down the hallway, screaming at me as I'm walking to the elevator.
Wow.
So you can imagine, at the time I was probably like 120 pounds. She's like a 200-pound lady, like coming at me, screaming down the hallway. The deputies are looking at her, looking at me like, are you okay? Obviously, she felt like she could get away with that. And I think she wanted to push me to the point where I did become the angry Black woman. I did become agitated and aggressive, but I didn't. I actually got her the elevator and I was like, have a nice day. And 3 days later, she calls me to apologize. And I was like, no, not even necessary. I know the type of woman that you are. I know the type of attorney that you are. It's not even necessary. Let's just do the best that we can for our clients. And that was it. But she's invited me out to lunch. She's invited me out to dinner. She's invited me to firm functions. It's just the way that I handled her. And that judge actually sees me at events all the time and always says hello. He always brings it up. Yeah. It's just about in those moments you really want to, I want to get ghetto. You know.
Well, I know because you never take that. There. Well, I just know you never take that approach with me. I just go. No. We just go straight to the hood when me and you start to have a little tush.
No, but you already know what time it was. If this was back in them Tampa days, we would have been fighting. We would have been rolling around, we would have been fighting. The minute she said, I would have turned around like what? I would have turned around like, what's going on?
Hey, but let me ask you this though: would you have asked somebody to hold your black and mild first? My bad. Did I? Oh, my bad.
I am so sorry.
My bad. Sorry, my bad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
My bad. I just said my bad. How dare I? My bad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying.
Don't let me start talking about just
what?
Don't be bringing me on no podcast.
Embarrassing me. Look, man, my glasses have gotten foggy in here. Oh my God. Look, there's so much that I could talk about. Can you do me a favor? Can you come back to the next episode? I don't like to let's come back. But there's so many things that are going on. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk ownership with you next episode. I definitely want to do that because there's a lot going on with that. And J.R. Smith made some great points, and it's definitely something that I want to jump into next episode.
Yeah. Next episode, let's talk about it. Let's talk about some business stuff. Let's talk about ownership. Like really, yeah. I've got a lot of stuff in my brain.
That's a big brain. That's a big brain.
It's a big brain underneath. It's full of secrets.
Secrets. Yeah, that was your way of telling me shut up.
First of all, your head's big too, so don't even. Your head is big too.
Girl, that's because my afro's growing. That's what that is.
No, your skull is big.
My afro's growing. Also, too, man, don't go anywhere though, because I got this kid, Muse. He's gonna be coming up right after this discussion with Jillene right here. He's dope new artist out of LA by way of Virginia. But he's dope though. Kid's like 20, doing some really dope things out in Cali. Miss Jillene, where can they find you at on social media?
Oh man, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Jillene D, and you can also find me on Instagram _Jillene or Jillene D _JD. I'm sure Ekin, you'll post it up and tag me somewhere.
Can you be on my YouTube channel too? Your YouTube channel's kind of heavy. Can you be on my YouTube channel too?
Yeah, I can. I
need to get my numbers up. I think if I start putting you on my YouTube channel, my numbers gonna get ready.
Oh, you trying to exploit me?
I didn't see exploit was not the word that I used. I said to help get my numbers up. Exploit was not. Look, I did not ask you to come on in Dirty Wine. I did not ask for that.
Because I can't do it.
You can whine.
I can't dirty wine.
Is there a difference in all of these things?
Oh my God, yeah. This is my point. We'll bring it all the way back and then I'll rest my case. You're not cool. You don't even know the difference between the
First of all, let me be clear.
You're not cool.
No. Let me be clear with you on something. I don't claim to be a knower of all things. And if you know one thing about me, you know when it comes to Caribbean, when it comes to Caribbean music, I really only know the hits. I don't know that. And as a matter of fact, even just being honest about what I know about Caribbean culture, other than having some really dope friends, I don't even know all the food to even order. Because I pretty much eat the same thing. Curry chicken, jerk chicken. I very rarely eat oxtails. And I know that's a big Caribbean thing. Right? So
I had oxtail last night.
Exactly. So see, I don't try to be cool in everything. I know my limitations. And that's part of being cool. So as many times as you try to knock down my cool, these are the very reasons why I am cool. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't try to jump into things. Like, it's like listening to you, right? You know a lot of things that I don't. Like, I could never tell you certain things like how you just told me. Because you know why? I never am going to be one of them dudes in a video, right? How dudes be in these videos you see, you be like, why is the dude twerking? I'm never going to be that dude.
What the dog doing?
Yeah, like I'm never that dude. I'm just going to watch and I may ask a question later, but I also know what I like. and the fact that you can't twerk, I'm gonna make sure that I'm never in a room when you twerking because I don't want to be disgusted. Full circle.
No. Oh,
Shouts out to everybody rocking with us here at the Hip Hop Study Hall podcast, man. My man Jason at Radio Influence. Of course, can't forget Ben. And this is what I'm supposed to do here. And I know you know this part, right? Like, subscribe, download, all that good stuff, right? We're supposed to say all that stuff. How do you say it? How do you say it?
I say don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit a button, any button. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit another button. Just hit a button. That's what I say. Hit a button.
You see, I'm learning some things here, man. I am DJ Eakin, man. Catch me across all your socials at DJ Eakin, and of course on YouTube at DJ Eakin TV. All right. We are gone for now. Miss Jillene, I will see you soon. All right. I appreciate you, and I love you as always.
Love you too. Bye guys.
As promised here on Hip Hop Study Hall, it's your man DJ Eakin, Tampa's most connected DJ. I told you what I like to do here is every week I'm going to learn something, whether it's something new and hot popping off in this hip hop thing, or it may just be somebody new that's buzzing and making some things happen. Shouts out to my man Muse, and we're going to get into exactly where your name comes from. Let's see. From Virginia, living in LA now, new EP just dropped, Far From Home, and here you are now. I appreciate you, man, taking the time to rock with us here on Hip Hop Study Hall, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I appreciate y'all for taking the time out your day. But I'm good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, man. Let's just get right into it. I did some listening to your music, of course, because like I said, the thing about this game that I think is so dope is somebody could just be like, "Yo, you got to peep this," and I'm just like, and I'm sure this being an artist, right? There are so many songs uploaded per day, right? That I don't care. I don't care who you are, and I pride myself on being a DJ that's up on things. I just can't keep up, man. So it's like so many of you dudes out there that are doing great things and dope things that I'm glad to be plugged into you, man. So first things first, man, in Virginia, you are from Manassas.
Manassas, Virginia, yeah.
Manassas, Virginia. You and I were talking about that before you jumped on here. Up by Alexandria, Virginia, the DC area, a little bit south of that. How does one, I guess other than the internet, how is the hip hop scene in Manassas? I how you picture, I'm from New York originally. Yeah. LA, of course, everybody knows Atlanta, what they do.
The big markets, yeah,
right.
For sure.
So when I meet a brother who's doing his thing and making noise originally from Manassas, Virginia, how does the hip hop bug jump on you?
I mean, I gotta credit that to like people like my older cousins and stuff like that who just just being around them, I just listened to what they were listening to.
Right.
I just loved listening to it. And I loved it so much. I wanted to, be a part of it. I wanted to be a part of it.
And you're like 20, right? You're like 20, 21, 20?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Okay. And reading up on you, some things that I saw is you have had a love for this game for a long time. But
for sure, definitely.
There's a certain amount of there's something to do with J. Cole though that made you decide, you know what, this is what I want to do. What was it about J. Cole?
I seen him in concert. So,
right.
I mean, I've been a big fan since the first album, like 2011, Cold War Sideline Story. So when I first heard that, I was like, dang, this is, it's different. I just remember listening to it. And I was like, wow, this is fresh. And then I seen him in concert a couple years later when he came for the four-year Eyes Only tour. And I was like, wow, just the way, like, the whole arena, bro, tapped in, tuned in. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do.
Right.
Definitely what I want to do. So, yeah, that was a monumental moment in my life for sure.
In your being a fan of J. Cole, right? And the fact that, like, if I look at it close enough, there's a couple of similarities here, right? You love hip hop, of course. You've become a fan of his, and the fact that J. Cole is originally from what would be considered by hip hop standards a small town, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Does that also instill in an artist like yourself that you can make it from anywhere?
It definitely did. It definitely gave me a strong sense of inspiration, like, seeing from where he came from and how he made it and how big he did, So that's for sure inspiration. And
now you've taken, how did LA come about though? Because now you rocking out in LA, you've officially got a deal, so you got a situation working. How did the move? And still, to me, bro, like I'm comprehending. I get these hip hop stories out here. Like, let's see, the YBN crew, right? How they all connected on the internet and then gradually moved with each other. Like they moved or whatever the story is per se. Yeah. What makes you say, I'm going to LA? Was there already a connection made, or?
No, that happened with my now manager. But before then, I just knew like he was rocking with an artist, and I was seeing what type of moves he was making and stuff like that.
Right.
Like with the artist, like just put on. I was like, bro, I gotta get his attention, you know. So I knew a couple people that knew him, and so yeah, I was rocking. I was doing shows, and I tried to get like my cousins to invite him to the show. I was like, bro, just keep trying to invite him, and he finally came to one in DC. It was Union Stage. It was top of 2020, and he seen the show. I met him right before I did the show, and the next day he was like, "Yeah, we got to work." And so,
and I like to give I'm sorry, I like to give credit where credit is due at. What's your manager's name again?
ET for sure.
Okay, so big shout out to ET, and he's from DC. I mean, he's from that area. Or he's from the West Coast.
Yeah, he's from DC. He's from DC. So when I met him, he was planning to move to LA. Okay, and she was like, "Yo, I'm planning to move. I'm about to move to LA." And just more studios out. This like right when we was talking, like we were about to, get into our situation, and he was like, "Yo, there's more studios out there. If you ever want to leave, like if you ever want to come out, you just need a place to stay. I got you to this, that, and the third." I'm like, oh, for sure. So I just took a leap of faith, and yeah, I'm rocking in LA.
And things been kind of moving in a good direction ever since.
It's definitely been trending upwards.
So what's been different about the LA's? I want to get into your EP, of course, and your music that you got popping, but since you've been in LA, and I'm sure, dude, you got the internet, you watch TV, of course, being a student and a fan of hip hop, you see all these things going on. Has LA been exactly what you thought it would be since you got there, or what's been different?
That's a good question. I mean, not exactly how I thought it would be, but I actually didn't know what to think. I just knew I was going to go out there. It was definitely going to be more, more resources, more studios, which it was, but yeah, that's all I really thought. Like took it as like everything else. I knew I was gonna have to make it happen for myself. Like I didn't go into LA like, oh, it's gonna be this. I'm ready for this, Right. Because I stepped out of my comfort zone. I didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
So yeah.
But it felt like you made the right decision so far.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're almost at the EP that came out now. What were some of the first things you did when you get to LA exactly?
First time I went, February 2020.
Okay. Did you?
Yeah, and then I came back.
Okay.
The pandemic hit, so I stayed there for a little bit, and then about June, July, I flew back over. Yeah, that's what it was.
And that's when you decided that was going to be home base.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's what I do all the workout. That's what I was going to do. The videos, most of the videos, record out of all that. Just build something out here.
And somehow, not somehow, but through progression, music, and doing what you do, we have found our way to 2022, and we got a new EP that we just dropped out here called Far From Home.
Far From Home, yep, exactly.
Am I correct in assuming that? Okay, I'm lying. I cheated a little bit. I read a little bit about this. That the EP's title is a play on, your actual move from VA to LA. Definitely.
It's strongly inspired by that. And it came about, we were just, I was just throwing out names because we had a collection of songs. We were like, we need to find a name. And I was just throwing out names. I was like, that doesn't really stick. Threw out a couple more, that doesn't really stick. And then I was like, Far From Home. I was like, yeah. I looked up, ET was like, yeah, that's the one. So yeah, we just run with that. Because I mean, it's true. Everything, all the songs were recorded out in LA. And everything was LA. So I was like, dang, it's Far From Home. It just made a big leap. And yeah, that's what you get in the project.
Was it a little uncomfortable though being without your crew? Because I think there's even a song that you talk about that on the EP, right? There's a song that you talk about not having that crew of friends and stuff that you grew up with, of course. That when you go out there, you out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a mix of like uncomfortable, being uncomfortable, and it's like sort of like a guilt type of feeling too, because it's like I'm out here, but it's not like I'm out here just having a ball, this, that, like I'm really trying to make stuff work. So I have a line is like, I'm in sunny California. You can't bring my brothers with me because, I mean, that's generally like what I'm working towards. But in the moment, he seems like, oh, he's just in LA doing this, that, and the third. But yeah, but it's definitely, it was uncomfortable not being around the crew, my brothers, all that, and just making this body of work, just trying to stay focused.
Who did you work with on the EP Far From Home? Was there do you have a particular like set team that you work with? Or are there, or was it just a collection of people that you started to build with once you got out there?
So it was the latter. It was people that I met out here that just, you know, we went to the studio and we just played a couple beats and, you know, started to just develop the relationship. And so I got to shout out the team, the CC produced 2 joints on there, Nickel Plate and Sabrosa, who laced me.
Okay,
Got to shout out them.
Let's do this real quick. I'm gonna name a couple of joints on the EP, and you tell me the story behind them or what they mean to you, that sort of thing. All right. Let's start with Sense a Youngin'.
So Sense a Youngin' I came up with that first line. I was like, okay, that's gonna be the premise for the whole song. So it was like Sense a Youngin', all I wanted was to get a meal, hey, and after it was like have my mama sing pretty and make sure the bills paid. So that's always what I just wanted. I wanted to have that. Just to have that, give that sense of security to my moms and always, of course, to my little brother and stuff like that. So that just came like since the youngin', how I've been feeling. And then throughout the song, it's just what I'm building upon.
Okay. Yeah. Who produced that one?
That was a YouTube beat, actually. Yeah, that was a YouTube beat.
Let me stop you right here. Because this is what I always love when I talk to new artists like yourself that are working in today's, like, you know, the way that hip hop is moving.
Yeah.
How do you do the business when it comes, because you know, and this is a side note from the project. I want to get back to that. Because one of the things I like to talk about here on Hip Hop Study Hall is, you know, the stories that we hear that happened before you, right? You know, if you are a student of this game, which I'm learning that you are, there's been so many stories about deals and the paperwork, and, you know, everybody loves the music, but a lot of times as a creative, right, we jump into this with the love and sometimes forget the business. You know, let's take somebody that I know, you know, Juice WRLD, right? Juice WRLD's biggest joint wound up being, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Sting sample. Right. And Sting came back and he wanted all of his publishing. He wanted all of it. Now, now Juice WRLD will continue to eat. God rest his soul. He was going to continue to eat because as long as he can perform, people want to hear that song and ain't nobody stopping him from performing it. So he's continuing to eat. So with all of that stuff going on, I guess let's get back to what my question is how do you go about the business with someone that you get a beat from, like off of a YouTube or off one of these beat packs or that sort of thing? Is it the same normal way that I would know it, being like, you know, somebody that's been in this game, or are you guys doing a different set of business nowadays?
I mean, usually for the business, I leave that to like my manager type thing. Okay. So I like the beat and I just express that with them, and then I usually just record a song, send it to them, and then I just tell them, it's about to come out, and then I'll let my manager handle the rest. Right.
But there is communication, though, to make sure that person knows you're on the up and up and using their beat and that sort of thing. There's definitely okay. Yeah, because and again, this is not about this. I'd feel like as a student of this game and somebody to me that's a fan, that even though you're younger than me, right, I think that there's still things I learned from talking to a brother like yourself, right? Like you doing this, like, and what you're doing is dope. And how you guys are connecting with various producers and other artists around the world and using the internet, I think that is dope. But what I also, you know, I want folks who watch this to also learn too and listen to is that you are still doing the business. Like somebody in your camp goes, yo, let's get this business done though, so everybo's treated fairly.
100% for sure, and that's important. Yeah.
Okay. Definitely. Let's get to another joint. Yeah, I think trying to get paid kind of speaks to me. I think I know already. Let me make sure I say this right. Is it Sudley or Sudley Road? Sudley Road. Okay, yeah. That's interesting to me. Give me a little bit on how that song came about and what it even means.
Yeah, so Sudley Road is like is the road near where I grew up. So it's like like one of probably the longest road in Manassas. I think 100% it definitely is. And so the first verse is just me talking to like my younger self talking to me. So it's like, damn, you really, you took these risks. You were driving up and down to Baltimore. You were doing, it was like only a couple people in the room. Now you in this big room. You in the big studios. You in LA. Right. So that was the first verse, and then the second verse is just me being honest. It's just really a vulnerable song, and that actually took probably the longest to like come up with and put all the ideas to, because I didn't want it to ramble, and I just wanted to be clear, concise, what I wanted to say, and also just be vulnerable and just show like a part of me that a lot of people haven't seen before.
So it sounds like to me, and you can tell me if I'm on the right track, that This Far From Home, this EP and the structure of it, and even the songs that you've picked to make the EP, they're a lot deeper than just saying, oh, I just wanted to act like, I just want to make sure people knew where I was from. These songs are really your experiences and your path to where you are right now.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, so, 100%. It was what I was feeling, a mix of emotions, but I definitely wanted to tie back, like, this is real. Like, this is what I'm feeling. It's authentic. It's not just a bunch of random songs compiled into one just to give it to the people. No, I wanted to be, thought out, well thought out. I wanted the message to be there. And just wanted that to all be good before it came out.
No, I think, like I said, I just got wind of you. Like, I'm honest about that sort of thing. And to hear what I was hearing, honestly, I don't know if surprised is, because I still think that I'm meeting a lot of talented folks, but I do feel like a lot of music, and you could maybe speak to this. A lot of music that's coming out nowadays, it doesn't seem like it's made to be memorable. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like it's being made to make a dollar. You understand what I'm saying? Or if I can get this attached to a dance on TikTok, then I can get some views, I can get some shows.
Yeah,
I felt a little differently when I listened to what you were doing here. You understand what I'm saying? And I want to give you props for that. Like I said, I don't tell anybody what to do with their business, but I am a fan of this game. So
for sure.
When you go in, right, and you looking to put your work in front of people, knowing what a lot of people like that, me even interview you like myself, might have this preconceived notion before they get to know you or listen to your music first. How do you approach that? Like, I guess I'm asking, how do you approach, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're going in. Yeah,
first, when I make my music, definitely.
Right.
I mean, what you said, a lot of people, I mean, I don't want to say a lot of people, but you definitely get people that just want to come in, just, it's about the money, which is nothing wrong with that. People like to come in, get their money and just bounce out.
Right.
But for me, it's different. It's not just, about the bread. Like, definitely, I mean, of course, I want to be able to take care of the people around me and stuff like that and take care of myself. But when I go in, that's not what I'm thinking about. I just want to go in and make the best music I can, just fill with substance, because I don't want to be here today and then go tomorrow. I just want it to be real. I want, because at the end of the day, it's me. I got to be the one performing this. I got to be the one bringing it to people. So, I mean, it got to be real within me, and then, we move from there. But always just authenticity and just the substance.
Right.
That's how I approach it.
I heard a little influence, or maybe what I thought was some similarity when I heard your music. You could tell me if I'm on the right track.
Talk to me.
I felt like I heard like a Kendrick type of vibe when I was listening to you. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean like I think you went in there and was trying to do a Kendrick Lamar. Like, I'm gonna just do what he did. I really like what you were doing, but as I listened to, as the record progressed, I was like, it's like I could hear a little West Coast Kendrick influence up in here. Am I correct that that's a dude that you like? Well, first 100%. Of all, you're not mad about the comparison. I can see that on your face. But definitely you know, saying that do you kind of feel that a little bit, like when you, because might be a fan of Kendrick? I don't know where that's at, but
I am 100%. Kendrick, one of the greatest artists alive. So that's definitely a big influence. And I mean, it's music, right? So music, you build off each other, people like you listen to, you just try to make it your own.
Right.
So Kendrick definitely one of the big influence. 100%. So you're not wrong, not at all.
Dope.
Not
dope.
At all.
And like I said, dude, like I talked to my man Sylvan, man. Shouts out to him, man. When you talk to him again, it's my dude. And like I told him, when I get these things and people be like, yo, I got this kid, man, I want you to check out. And I'm like, I want to talk to him, but I also want to make sure that I've given you the respect and to give your project a listen, to be like, okay, do some research on you and learn about you. Although I do want to have the proper questions to ask you as well, because I want you to tell me about yourself. I want to ask you this because being that you're 20 and being that you're in where the game is now, and just want you to tell me where it's at, because like I said, being a student, we went through this phase, and it may still be here. That's why I want to ask you, of what we call the SoundCloud era of rappers, right? And it's where it seemed like a lot of younger artists like yourself, before you got in this game, and your friends and that sort of thing, where you guys were finding a lot of the new talent. Is that still the place to look and be found for, like, people like yourself when you're out looking for music, or like even if you're looking for people to collaborate with? Because and I'm gonna tell you why I ask you this question. YouTube, to me, is still a place where everybody keeps telling me they're discovering a lot of new music. but it also is a very corporate space, I must say, right? So to me, when I was younger, if something felt corporate to me, it wasn't always where I wanted to hang out at. It wasn't to me where all the cool kids wanted to hang out at. So is it YouTube, though, for you guys finding music, or a place to put your music to be found? Or is SoundCloud still very much that space of where this is the new hotness, right? This is the heat right here. It's going to be on SoundCloud. Is it more so still there?
So, I mean, SoundCloud is definitely still there. But, I mean, usually it's like YouTube's definitely big, of course. But like you said, it's corporate. So, yeah, it's going to be big. But Twitter, too. Twitter's like slept on when it comes to like finding new artists and stuff.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people, you don't know what you're going to find, because a lot of people, you might just get some, like, put onto somebody because somebody retweeted them. It's like, oh, dang, you know?
Right.
I rock with this. I rock with it. And yeah, granted, Twitter been around for a good amount of time, but you still find like them heaters on there. So that's where I find some things I never would have found anywhere else, because somebody just retweeted it or somebody just sent it to me like, yo, you gotta check this out. But SoundCloud definitely, YouTube definitely, and then yeah, Twitter for sure.
Okay. Do you feel like, and I asked another new artist this not long ago, do you feel like you have to put, Instagram. Okay. Instagram, SoundCloud still. Okay, so we're still on the right track then. That's what I want to know. Like where a lot of the new music is being found at, because I know, like you said, we got all these DSPs out here. We got everything is out here. So it's like, where do we find these new cats though that are like, they bubbling? Because I got a lot of like younger friends that be around me and they be like, you don't know about this, Eakin. And then as soon as I know about it though, they don't want to rock with it no more. They be like, nah, you playing that every week in the party. I don't. Like, I'll never forget the first chick who ever told me about Drake, right? I'm in college. And she's like, yo, you got to know about this kid. You got to know. And she's all in. Yeah. And the minute Drake blew, I don't rock with him no more. What? How do you not? Like, how do you not? Like, how do you? Drizzy is, and this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know Drake is like the top echelon right now, right? But he was still like this, and I still think he's doing great things now. But she literally was like, I don't really rock with him like that no more. Yeah, it was serious.
Yeah. I never understood that, because it's like, if you really rock with somebody and you have that pride, like, damn, I found him when he was,
right.
Like when he was bubbling, and then now they make, he's like, you have a hand in that some way, It's like, I was playing it to a lot of people. I was playing it a lot. And now, you have a hand in that.
They don't want to do it though, man. They don't want to do it. Give me 5 artists that in your career, if you get the opportunity, that you would like to be in a studio with and creating with. Artists, producers. If it's 3, I don't know. It could be. I'm giving you 5, but if it's 3, if it's 2,
it's more than 5. You gonna have
you gotta narrow it down. Then we gotta narrow it down into your top 5.
I got you. But it's definitely more. But I'm gonna give you some art for. J. Cole and Kendrick, definitely them top 2 off the break, and then artists, producers. Pharrell, gotta do that for the state.
Right.
Definitely. Virginia. JID. I definitely want to get in with JID. And then Ari Lennox.
I was going to ask you, was there a female in there anywhere? I was going to ask you that. Was there a female in anywhere?
Ari Lennox. I rock with her, like her music, of course, but just like her overall vibe, bruh.
Right.
She's just funny. She seems like a joy to be around. So in a studio session, I feel like it'd be just
feel like you get it popping.
Yeah, but it's like, also get something done. But it's just
okay.
Show.
How is the scene in Virginia now? I mean, because you and I both, and we talked about this as we got on here, there's some history that we got in Virginia. I mean, if we start with, where do we start? Pharrell, the Neptunes, the Clips, Timbaland, Missy, Chris Brown, Mad Skills, you know what I'm saying? And this is people that we know that really blew over the top, right? That from an era that I love. Is the scene still bubbling like that now in Virginia? Like that you know of?
Virginia off top definitely got a lot of talented people, but if it's still bubbling, it's not as big of a market like you said, the LAs and the New York and Atlanta's right now. But it's definitely, of course, still some talented, 100% more talented people coming out there, more artists. It's Virginia, man. We got some talented heavy hitters out there.
I give Virginia that.
Don't know about them yet.
I give Virginia that, bro. It's some talent over there, man. My man Muse in the building today, Hip Hop Study Hall. The EP is called Far From Home. It's out right now. Where can they find you at on social media, like to check for? Well, of course, we know that the EP is out everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, it's out everywhere. I'm telling you right now, it's some heat. So don't just take my word for it. Go listen to it. And everybody know me, dude. I tell them if I don't like something. They know. They like. I have no tact. That's the first problem I have. But I'm getting better.
That's not a problem.
but where can they find you at on social media, man?
So Muse the Great, MuseTheGreat on all social media platforms. Muse the Great.
Are we? I couldn't. You know what I didn't find though? Are we dropping some videos from this EP soon, or do we have one out that I missed?
Yep. So we just getting in the works with them, getting them back to us. We just shot a couple. One's already locked and loaded. We gonna drop that soon. But we definitely gonna get videos off this EP. 100%.
Okay. And how are you checking in with the fans regularly on social media? Because that's the new thing. You gotta they gotta get that engagement. They gotta get that engagement. You got to go live like once a day. You going live once a day? Y'all know your man is telling you. Hey, look, man, look. I ain't even an artist. I'm just a dude who do a lot of DJ work. I do a lot of stuff, right? It's getting to the point like I DJ for the Bucks, right? It's to the point now that my team is like, you know what? This year though, when you go to your little treasure chest and be DJing, don't you got a GoPro? And I'm like, yeah, I got one still in like the pack. They're like, well, it need to be out of the pack. Take it in the stadium with you. And I'm like, what? They like, bro, you on your phone talking to because I talk to the guys upstairs, right? So I can't use my telephone. They're like, bro, content. Take the GoPro and just record, bro. Just we'll get something. So I know, bro. So I know you being an artist, you got
a lot of people like to see that. Yeah. So we definitely got that. Yeah, the content, all that. Just because a lot of people like, I didn't realize this, but a lot of people, they just want to see the ins and outs of it, Right. Like when you make a song and then you show them how the song came about, using the studio, whoever was around you, and just makes them appreciate it more, Right. It's like, oh, wow, it's time to do this, that, and third. So,
hey, man.
But feel it.
That's our word, man. Engagement. That's our word. Engagement.
Definitely.
Hey, man, do me this favor, because I like to do this with every artist before they get out of here. For those artists and creatives that are younger than you, or even I'm not even saying younger than you, that are just looking to get in this game, if you could give them one piece of advice, what would you give them?
Don't stop working. Don't stop working. Just don't stop working. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give anybody. Because a lot of people are gonna try to tear you down, not tear you down, but won't believe in you, tell you give you so many reasons why you can't do it. All you need is one why you can, and then just don't stop working.
I'm gonna let you get out of here, but I did think of this as you were saying that. Have you had a chance to peep the Genius documentary on Netflix about Kanye?
100%. Yeah. Super inspiring.
What was your biggest takeaway from that?
The fact that he was just relentless of, he had a dream. He wasn't going to let nobody get in the way. He had a vision. He wasn't going to let nobody get in the way of being what he wanted to do, doing what he wanted to do.
We on the same page. And I'm glad that you told me that you saw it, because I as you were saying, don't ever quit. I started thinking about the documentary and what I got out of it. Right. And I tell people this all the time. And one of the things that I've now that I've watched the documentary, one thing that I'm definitely cutting back on participating in is anything negative going on in hip hop. I really don't want to be a part of it. And by that, I mean, on my platforms, I don't really want to talk about it as much. I'm not saying that if it's news, I won't touch it or whatever, but I watch so many things about like an artist like yourself, right? You're doing a lot of positive things. You're working, but we're fighting to get your story out there. You mess around and do something. You mess around and do something crazy tomorrow, though, and everybody will pick that story up. TMZ, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody. I look at all these sites that are so-called blog sites, and they're the big news sites or whatever, and they are 75 to 80% us. Hip hop. The culture, right?
Yeah.
But it's 80% of those stories are also, though, who did this to who's fighting who pulled a gun on who lost this money, whose baby mama's this. And I'm just like, we got a lot of dope people like yourself that more of those stories need to be heard. And the reason I asked you about the Kanye thing is because one of the things I tell kids all the time when I'm going to schools or whenever I go somewhere and speak is, no matter what you take from Kanye, go through all of that, right? And I'm not saying everything that he does is right. But if a kid don't get nothing else from Kanye, the belief in himself, like you just said, the relentless belief that he can do whatever he sets his mind to, every kid should be like that. Every person should be like that.
Yeah, because he had a million reasons of why he could have quit, or why he could have just, I can't do it. This is too much, or this is, but he just, just stuck to what he knew, and just, he knew what he wanted to do. Didn't let nobody deter him for that. Had a vision. And
this is even after he had platinum records. He was still like, I ain't got no budget for my own album. They you know, and I'm like, he done produced for the biggest hip hop artists out there, platinum hits. And he was like, "Can I get my budget opened up? Can I get some help with my project?"
Exactly. So it's just that's the main thing I took from it is, man, you can do it. You just gotta stay true. You just gotta stay working, and don't let nobody deter you from it, because you're gonna get to it. Yeah,
my
so
man.
that's what I took.
Hey man, I appreciate you taking the time once again, man, and let's do this. I will make sure that I keep in touch with you and your team, because I want to continue to watch this story and check in with you and see where you are and what things are going on, man. So again, like I said, I appreciate the time, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care what anybody else says to you in the rest of your time doing this. Just know that right here, DJ Eakin, Hip Hop Study Hall, we appreciate you taking the time in, and much success with everything that you're doing, and stay on it, man. Like you said, stay on it, stay believing in yourself. And I think you on to something, man. The EP is called Far From Home. It's out right now on all the platforms. His name is Muse. He is in LA right now. So if you out there, check for him. I'm guessing he's coming back to the East Coast, though. He's got to come. He's got family. He's got to come back and visit. So at some point, he's going to be on the road. I know you're trying to get it. All the latest and greatest content from Hip Hop Study Hall, right? You trying to get your hands on that? It's DJ Eakin, man. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, all right? Get the alerts. Hit that subscribe button now.